Okay, so this is the audiogram interpretation review. So we went over a couple, but let's go through them all. This is the first audiogram. And again, we look, red is right ear, blue is left ear. Air conductions are X's and O's. Bone conduction scores are the brackets, parentheses, or greater and less than signs. And so notice a couple things. No air bone gaps, nothing 15 or greater. So we have a mild sloping to moderate or moderately severe sensory neural hearing loss bilaterally. In this audiogram, we have left ear is the same thing, no air bone gaps, mild sloping to moderate or moderately severe. Right ear, we have no air bone gaps. 4,000 hertz has a 10 dB air bone gap, which is not significant. So right ear, we have a moderate sloping to severe or profound sensory neural loss. Okay. This one we have left ear, same thing, mild sloping to moderately severe sensory neural loss. Right ear has a profound mixed hearing loss. Again, it's mixed because the bone conduction scores, you have positive air bone gaps, so 15 or more, and the bone conduction scores are worse, lower than on the audiogram 20 dB. Next one, so there's no air bone gaps. Okay, the arrow pointing down on the bone conduction score at 4,000 means there's no response at the maximum output of the audiometer. So in this one we have a mild sloping to profound sensory neural loss. No air bone gaps. Here we have left ear. You can see there are some significant air bone gaps. Okay. Right ear, there are not. So in the left ear, we have a kind of moderate, flat conductive loss. Now this is a conductive loss because the bone conduction scores are greater than 20. I mean, better than 20, lower than 20. So they're in that normal hearing range. Okay, so that's what makes the left ear conductive. And the right ear, you have mild sloping to profound sensory neural loss. Again, no air bone gaps in the right ear. Here, okay, right ear similar. Left ear, instead of a conductive loss, we now have a sensory neural loss because there's no air bone gaps. So left ear is essentially a moderate, flat sensory neural hearing loss. The right ear is a mild sloping to profound sensory neural loss because of the lack of air bone gaps. Now this last audiogram, I have my screen showing, you probably can't see, but to the left of the audiogram I have a little note, and I have adult versus pediatric considerations. So in this hearing loss, obviously, there's no air bone gaps. Okay, from 250, 500, 1,000, 2,000 hertz, they're around 15 to 20, which is essentially normal hearing. And then at 4,000, 8,000 hertz, it slopes down into that mild sensory neural component. I put adult versus pediatric considerations just to talk a little bit about how some clinics recommend, some individuals recommend that the threshold for normal hearing be lower or better for children. So 15 dB versus 20 or 25 dB for adults. Obviously because they're new to language, they're learning language, they're learning, they're developing speech and language skills, articulation and all of that. So it's recommended that we use a kind of more strict criterion for normal hearing for the pediatric population. So that is the last audiogram. If you have questions, please let me know.